welcome back to a brand new episode brought to you by Game Glitches. I'm sorry for vanishing recently, just kind of got a little bit burned out making 200 videos on this game, but I'm definitely now back in a mood to play some more of Divinity. And I'm gonna start by taking a look at a patch 1.0.219, which has a lot of changes, but I will briefly go over these changes in this patch and mostly concentrate the rest of the patch and dedicate it to the Weresheep armor. In one of my previous videos, which I will include a link in below, had the information on how to obtain the wool that you need, and once you obtain the wool, you are able to now craft yourself nice little handy dandy armor. Now, let's get started and take a look at the current patch. Also, please note that from this point on, I will be talking about the patch and I will jump to the side and we'll discuss it in some detail. Of course, very briefly because the patch is massive, and if you would like to skip to the video, you could skip forward, say several minutes to, I will obviously right now include a little caption which you can click, or in the comments below that will skip straight to the Weresheep armor and Weresheep quest. As you can see, these are the patch notes that you could easily locate on the Divinity Original Sin forums or on Steam. But if you look through them, because it's such a cluster of so many different things that they have changed from literally from the story and gameplay all the way to skills and design and balancing. And when you go through them, not really a lot of them seem to be that important and really could just be, bug and issue fixes. But here alone, you could see one of the most important one that I've noticed is projectiles can be shot over knocked down enemies. Meaning if one enemy is standing in front of another enemy, you knock the one in front of him. Now you could shoot the arrow that's standing, because opens up a whole level of whole new way of strategy of playing Divinity Original Sin, because before, if you were fighting an enemy that was standing in a line, you would have to kill one after another, and it was actually quite a pain in the ass unless uh, can you had an ability that would have been able to leap over the mob that was in front of you. But that was a most likely very unlikely that you used it or had that. But in any case, it's a still wonderful fix. Another thing that I noticed that they heavily have been addressing in this patch is the fact of disconnecting and playing with your friends. As you can see, they have been fixing peer disconnect issues during listening, and throughout this, they have also been fixing it quite progressively. Also, quite few significant things. Now, when a person joins the game, he will join into the dialogue itself rather than just standing there idly, just wondering how far you are into it. Also, what I've noticed, they have added armor damage UI element, and it is no longer possible to send teleport pyramid to homestead. I mean, this one was expected, and weapon damage percent is now always shown in a skill description, which I'm gonna jump to in a second. Also, you can see a lot of things were added and changed into interface. I mean, these are nice little features, but nothing really that quite significant that at least that really bothered me. I mean, the combat log, uniform, resize chat log, I mean, that's kind of nice. And journal scroll into view disabled. I mean, alright. These are the code fixes for crash removing items, to fix the AI personalities and the three-way dialogue. They fixed the four-player mod crash. If you haven't checked out, there's a four-person mod that is available that I was meaning to check out and have a go at with somebody. If anybody is interested, please holla at me on YouTube, and I'll gladly, get together 3 people plus me, and we could have a nice gameplay that I could record and post up on YouTube. Also, they have changed, rebalanced some troll zombies. They've, basically Cecile. They've been rebalancing some of that. Lucas, the Temple of Dead. They increased the challenge from what they said. Fixed the stats and characters in Lucula Mines. I don't know if they mean this by making them stronger, or tougher. I mean, or easier, but those mobs weren't that easy to deal with, and on hard mode they were kind of quite really annoying. um there are also quite a lot of significant skill changes, as you can see here. No longer required dagger strip fix. One of my ones that I've noticed is dagger drawn fix costs 6 AP now instead of 8, which is actually quite a significant, reduction by about 20%, 25%, which I find quite valuable. Now a lot of stats depend on strength and intelligence purely, or healing depends on the skill. Also, they have added a whole ton of design balancing. I mean, if I would go over each one of these individually, it would be a quite lengthy video. Also, if you have a Kickstarter, there's now 4 brand new Kickstarter henchmen that are available, which you guys should take a look into. Also, they have added, the healing skills that are now, scaled, the better high level skills, and much more useful to use than just spamming the lower level ones like, did it before. They also fixed a lot of exploits that, that have been going around, and bugs, especially with Esmeralda doors closing. There's a whole ton of fixes, but if you're already far into the game, unfortunately, a lot of these fixes aren't gonna really affect you, and implementations aren't gonna really affect you. What is really gonna affect you is are once you start a brand new game, and from there on you would be really affected, because this is will come into play quite early on. I urge you guys to read it over, because this is quite a lot of information to change. Now, as promised, one of the things that they have also changed here is Weresheep armor. And, they said they rebalanced it, and we're gonna go check it out. It's gonna be a really quick guide. Once you obtain the Weresheep wool, and if you're not sure how to obtain it or the process to follow the chain quest, please refer to my previous video that will be also included in the captions and in the description video. What you first need to do after you obtain the Weresheep wool, you need to port to the Hiberium Castle. You will end up by this red portal. Then you would need to travel all the way back to the elementals. And approach, of course, this forge. Once you made it to the forge area, which is again located right over here on a map, you approach the forge. Then locate your Weresheep wool. And then drag it over the forge. And voila, you have updated your journal. As you can see, the stats on the boots are 2 speed, 1 sneak, 90 HP, and immunity to knockdown. And As you can see, we also obtained the rest of the armor, which has 2 initiative, 2 dexterity, 1 crafting, 25 versus poison. The helmet is also very nice, but 2 perception, tenebrium resistance 25, minus sight, 90 HP, and turn action points plus 1. And the chest piece is 25 versus all, 1 willpower, 1 body build, and immune to being frozen. All of this armor is, on a level of kind of leather, not really plate type of defense. Well, I guess it could be considered on plate level type of defense in some ways. This was actually slightly changed. For example, the stats on the boots was slightly different. These boots, for example, before used to be 2 speed, 1 sneak, 90 HP. But now, as you can see, these boots also have immunity to be knocked down. None of this armor, from what I remember, had any kind of immunities on it. And now you could see that there's now an immunity on a chest piece and boots as well. Bracelets, for example, used to be 2 initiative, 2 dexterity, 1 craftsmanship, 23 armor. As you can see that the braces remain the same, but they've now added 25 versus poison. Helmet seems to have gotten quite significant change. The old helmet was 32 armor, 1 perception, sight minus 4.3, 90 HP, 1 turn action point. Now what they have added 1 extra perception and 25 tenebrium percent, 25% versus tenebrium, which is actually quite significant because tenebrium does do a ton of damage. The old chest piece, not the current one that I'm mousing, but the older version, again, was 45 armor, 1 willpower, 1 bodybuilding, and 25 versus all resistances. The current version that we have right now is 64 armor, which is 19 armor more. Also, we have plus movement speed, plus initiative 1, same of course bodybuilding and willpower state, same resistance, and of course immune to frozen, which is actually quite amazing. So between them you can be frozen, can be knocked down, so technically if you could get immunity to lightning, you are now immune to nearly all forms of crowd control that you can come across the game. Again, also please note that to make this armor you would you will require crafting. The lowest I've managed to craft this armor with 4, but on the safe side I always tend to go with 5 just in case, because just having 5 is max unless you have more, but there's not really necessary. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this little video on the patch and on the Weresheep armor and on what the stats, the changes are. They were quite significant in some ways if you really like that armor. Also, for the sake look, let's put it on and see how the armor looks like. Yes, I have a lot of things in my bag. I know, I'm a hoarder, okay? Now, as you can see, it actually looks quite nice. Let me get out into some light so I could actually see how this armor looks like. Like, yes, somewhere here would be nice. Now, let's take a look at the armor. The armor looks very, very nice. I mean, it has incredible amount of detail. It has an incredibly unique look. These horns are really nice looking. There's no other armor that looks like it. You could see that there were like logos and tags, over here. emblems and stuff. The armor, let's see how it looks from the back. As you could see, there's a significant amount of detail in this armor that's been put in. It's a quite nice armor, very, very light, very good. It'll be great for rogues, and so on. For that type of classes, because it does have a whole ton of perception on it, and all those immunities to nice to frozen and knockdown. And also, if you put the nails in your boots, you could have twice as many resistances in them. As you can see, I've done that to these boots. They originally came in with crippled, but I've put some nails into them, and now they're also anti-slipping, which is actually a quite nice little benefit there for me. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys, continue playing this game. This is quite an amazing game. I'm gonna get back into it. Please click like, please click subscribe, please leave your comments on what you want to see or what you want me to cover. And if you're ever interested in having a game, please hit me up on Steam or hit me up on YouTube, and I'll be more than glad to add you on Steam and play a game with you too. Alright guys, thank you for watching and have a wonderful night.